What I'm going to be doing today is basically removing the valve covers so that I can paint them. I went to O'Reilly's today. Basically got what I'm going to be going with. Figured this was the closest I could get to match that. If it's a little bit off, it is what it is. That'll be that. Because you can't paint these with the same paint that I painted this. This has to be made to handle heat, or it's gonna just like evaporate or something. This not so much because that's just a timing belt cover. So these actually have to withstand heat. I got some basically degreaser and stuff like that to clearing off the side of this because it was really greasy and dirty. It's looking a lot better now. I'm also gonna degrease the trans because I do want to paint the trans too. But I'll probably go and clean off more stuff as I get to it. Actually, I'm gonna just clean off this side pretty much right now. Yeah, I'll just go ahead and do that. Okay, now that this side is cleaned off, looks like to get to these, I'm gonna have to remove this and of course unplug these things. So first things first, let's get this out the way. There's nothing under here, so it looks like it's these two clamps. It's not necessarily, it's not mounted onto anything on the block, so it's these two clamps, this hose right here. So these two hoses, where does this go? So this hose too, and it looks like that's it since this is directly connected to that. Now, get all this stuff out the way. Looks like 1, 2, 3, 4. Gonna have to come off. Alright, got that off, put it over there. So now it looks like it's really just these screws on each side all the way down. Looks like that's everything that's holding it in. So let's go ahead and take these screws out, pop these suckers off, or at least pop one of them off first. Okay, got that out. It was pretty straightforward, just all the screws and stuff, but there is one that's right here, and that's like directly under this thing, so you kind of gotta maneuver to get that out, and that one was the only one that I found kind of difficult. On a positive note, this looks wonderful. So I don't see like any sludge or anything like that. That means this thing's pretty good. And of course, I can tell there's a new gasket on this. So I'm pretty sure that this engine is just good to go. Straight back, you know, straight in the car and run. They put the RTV on the ends just like Nissan recommends. So like I said, I'm pretty sure that this engine is just good to go back in the car maintenance wise, and I'm glad about that because I got a really good deal on it and I'm excited. So I'm gonna take this one off camera, and then we'll go about cleaning them and getting them ready for paint. So I got all the bolts and stuff for this one undone. It just pops out. You can move this back, grab it. This one is the easier one to do. There we go. And brand new gasket on this one too. Like I said, this engine is looking promising by a long shot. So I'm pretty sure that I'm not even going to check the rest of the maintenance stuff on it, because so far this is fine the way that it is. Everything that I have checked, like the necessities and stuff like that, I've checked out. This will be a nice time to put in some bigger cams, but I'm broke, so I can't do that. But yeah. So now that you got those out, you basically just clean these off. That's what I got this for. Then I'm gonna spray them down with the actual paint, let it dry, and reinstall it. I need to find something to put those on face down so they can be cleaned. I think I'm gonna just have to. I'm gonna have to take your box. I'm sorry. Here goes some food for you. There you go. You good on that? Yeah, I'm sorry. Sacrifices for the race car. One thing that I would recommend when doing this is to, you know, if you don't have an engine that's been recently rebuilt and all that stuff, it's good to just go ahead and get replacement gaskets so that you could just go ahead and slap it on while it's already off. That way things will, you know, it's like one of those things that you could do while you're already doing stuff. So there's that. What you want to do, mask off these with some tape. Of course, mask off this hole, and that's pretty much that. Then clean it, paint it, and tape them off pretty good. That's pretty much what you want to do. Now, what I would say for like this one, I would say leave this open for now, so that like when I'm cleaning it and stuff like that, you can clean this area up too, like, you know, this little part. But once you get it clean, then tape this off too. The RB engines valve covers are pretty easy to paint. It's not too much that you got to mask off outside of those and these. That's it. I've seen some other engines like Integras where the coil slots are in the valve cover itself, so you have to tape that out, and it's in between here. It gets a little complicated, but this is pretty straightforward. So basically what I'm going to do now is you just take some of this, or if you have like brake clean or anything in that area, just spray it down. I have a wire brush, but if you got something else that can like really get to it, you can spray that down too. But yeah, so just make sure that you get it nice. you want to get it all clean and whatnot. This box ain't doing nothing. The cardboard. And I'll leave it at that. So this stuff foams while it degreases everything, and then when it's done foaming, so you can go ahead and get it off. I'm gonna take the bigger one. Get off my static. And then the smaller one too. It's okay. Ugh. Look at her, she's terrified. Okay, maybe she's not terrified. But yeah, just let that do its thing. And then go ahead and scrub it off with one of these. This is basically what I'm using. After that, you should go ahead and be able to paint it. I would say let it dry naturally afterwards, but I'm impatient, so I'm probably going to dry it off myself once I'm done scrubbing it down, and then I'll go ahead and paint it. Got it as clean as I could, so that's what that is. Also blocked that off for the time being. My masking job on that specifically isn't perfect, but most of it's covered by the cap anyway, so that's why I wasn't really trying to go for perfection. But yeah, after you get everything like that, get this stuff out the way, then you can go ahead and hit it with a couple coats of this, or whatever color it is you choose. I have, can't see, I'm not entirely sure what color this is. I thought it would say it on the thing, but I guess not. Oh, cast coat iron. So, I feel like that's the closest I could get to match. Yeah, that'll probably be fine. If you just want to spray away. I'll probably hit this with 2 or 3 coats, and then you go ahead and just reinstall it. Really getting there. I'm about to put on the last coat and let this dry for quite a bit. Like I said, I'm doing 3 coats. I've already done the first 2 and basically allowing like 10 minutes or so, maybe a little bit longer, 10 to 12 minutes in between each coat to dry. So this will be the last one because it's pretty much all there. I just want to 100% secure it, make sure that it's good and all that stuff, and then I'm gonna let it dry for a couple hours before I take off like the tape and all that stuff and continue this and then reinstall it. So to be honest, I might, since it's like 12 o'clock at night, I'm probably just gonna do this last coat, and then I can already see some imperfections, but it doesn't matter. I'm gonna consider that a wrap, in all due honesty. I'm just gonna let this dry basically overnight. Leave a fan on it to kind of keep it blowing. One thing that you want to make sure, especially if you're going to be painting inside, normally you're supposed to do this outside, but you want to have a well ventilated area. So my best attempt at that, which has worked for me in the past when it came to painting my front end and stuff like that, but just basically having the fan blow it all out the window. So I'm leaving it. I would leave this wide open, but for some reason my screen is not working. Not really working, but it's not there, so I don't want the cat to jump out the window. But It's cracked enough to have that blow it all out, and I'll just leave it like this overnight. Come back in the morning, reinstall, and everything should be said and done. I'm gonna go ahead and try to cut this short because this video is getting a little long, but everything's dry. Took the tape off of these parts, put it back up. I already installed the other one, so this one's done too, just to show you how it looks. There it is, all this glory, and I feel like it is a pretty close match, if not, you know, it's not perfect. You can kind of tell the difference between the two, like if you get all up close on it and everything like that. But for the most part, it's basically the same. So I'm gonna go ahead and install that one, and then we can do like a before and after.